What's good, everyone? So, I wanted to make an unfiltered video, something that's more unfiltered than what I've been putting out, because I realize, right, I've been a bit too nice, and there's nothing wrong with being nice, there's nothing wrong with respect, but you need to have some polarity in you. You need to have people that like you and people that don't like you, because why? Because that helps you voice your opinions. That helps you open up even more. And if I'm going to be teaching people how to build a cult-like personal brand, I'm going to have to be a man of my word and open up myself. So I'll give you the real reason why I got into business in the first place. And I've talked about this before, right? But I just wanted to really spill the beans here and paint the whole picture, essentially. So the real reason I got into business, and if you're new here, follow me on Instagram at the Matt Jacob. It's on the link. The link's in the description. Anyway, shut up, man. I need to stop. I need to stop wasting time. Anyway, the real reason I got into business was I wanted revenge. I wanted revenge. And the reason I wanted revenge was because back in 2019, oh no, not even 2019, 2018, when right before I got into entrepreneurship, I was in this friend group and we were good buddies for a couple. It felt like a couple years, but it was in reality just 1 year. I was in secondary school at the time, or middle school, whatever you call it. And we were friends for a year, but it felt really long because we had a solid friendship. There was about 3 to 4 of us, including me, and I'd always been one to move schools a lot. Like I've been to the Philippines. I went to school there, went back here, went to school here, went back to the Philippines. It's been back and forth journey. It's been very hectic, and I have my reasons, but I won't go in it now. Maybe in another video as to why that happened. But long story short, I moved schools a lot. I found it a bit hard to make friends. But obviously, when you're in primary school, when you're younger, it's easier to make friends, right? Because all you have to do is ask, "Can I play with you?" And then they'll say, "Yeah." And then you start playing with each other in the playground, and now you're friends, right? But obviously, as you grow up, things get a bit more complicated. So I found it reasonably hard to make friends. I was quite an introvert. I was quite shy. I actually used to be really quiet. Like I used to be the quiet kid in the corner, just minding his own business. So when I got into this friend group, when we really started to kick it off, and just like it was amazing, man. I can't lie, it was amazing because I'd always been the uncool kid. I used to be really the loser, and these guys were pretty cool in the sense that they were also friends with the popular kids. So then if I was friends with them, I could befriend the popular kids as well and just look cooler and, get more girls and look more attractive just because I was popular. Because status is everything in school. Anyway, I was friends with these guys for a while. And then out of the blue, I don't know what I did. I actually don't know what I did. Maybe it's because I brought up like anime, and I started watching anime at the time and thought it was really weird. They stopped wanting to be friends with me, and the way they did that, they didn't say it to my face like, "I don't want to be friends with you anymore." No, it was a very passive aggressive way of ending the friendship. Like I usually walk home with 2 of the other guys in the friend group because we lived pretty close to each other, lived in the same area, so it made sense to walk home together, right? So they usually wait for me, or I'd wait for them after school, and then we'd walk home. About 30 to 40 minute walk, and we do that almost every day, pretty much, whenever we can. And then all of a sudden, they either did not want to walk home with me, or I saw them, like they were a couple of steps ahead of me. I called their name, but they just ignored me, pretty much, like pretended they didn't hear me. Or I'd be ahead of them, right, like just walking out of school. I'd look behind, I'd see them, I'd try to get their attention, but they just ignore me, or they'd try find like a different route to go, and pretty much ghost me. So that was a pretty alienating experience. And I say alienating because I thought it was my fault. I thought I did something wrong. And that really tore in my self-worth and my self-confidence. Like, I thought I was such a weirdo. Like, and just like lost friends, and people thought I was weird because the evidence was there. Like, they didn't want to, they didn't want to be friends with me anymore. And then it got to a point where this is a few months of this happening, and they wouldn't tell me the whole time. They would not tell me why they didn't want to be friends with me anymore in my face. And why this is such a big deal is because when you think of yourself as someone who finds it hard to make friends, you become more desperate. So it was my fault on my end. It was a fault on my end. Like, I had a history of becoming desperate in friendships, and obviously, like, no one likes people who are desperate. So that could have been part of it, but you know, you really don't want to lose friends, especially when you think that you can't make friends that easily. So it got to a point where that happened, just games being played, and then I think April 1st, or one of the first days in April, and I remember it's April because this was days before my birthday, right? We were just walking home from school. I just got out of school. School just ended. The bell rung, walked home. I was walking home, and then I see them again. I see the people from my friend group ahead of me, like just like 20 seconds ahead of me, and I can just catch up to them. So I caught up to them, and one of them was on the bike. The other one was talking to him. He wasn't on his bike. He was just walking alongside, and the guy on the bike was just riding really slowly. Another one of my friends. And then I caught up to them. I started talking to them. I tried to starting conversation with them. It's like, hey, yo, what's good? How are you? Yeah, yada yada yada. And then all of a sudden, the guy who was walking, who was in my friend group, instantly, and I kid you not, instantly, as soon as he noticed I was with them, right, he pulls his phone out and just walks, like, looking down on his phone. Where 10 seconds before, right, you were just talking to this guy on the bike, and you two were having conversation, and I come along, and then you're on your phone now, right? And then luckily the guy, because he's a cool guy, I won't say names. I'm not going to say names throughout this video, not because I'm scared, but because just for privacy's sake. I'm over this now. I just want to share with you what's really happened. So the guy on the bike luckily keeps conversation. We're chopping it up. The guy who's walking, who was talking to him like 10 seconds ago, is just on his phone, completely ignoring me. And then 20 seconds later, I don't know if you've heard of this, but it's called bars, where you ask your friend on the bike if you can sit on the handlebars, and then, you know, he cycles you home. It's not the safest thing, but it's what we did sometimes, right? So about 10 seconds later, that happened. The guy on the phone is like, can I get some bars? I need to get home. And with just no urgency. So I clearly knew why he was doing that, because he didn't want to be around me. And then the guy on the bike was like, yeah, sure. And then off they went. And obviously that I'm on my own now, walking. So how does this all tie into why I started entrepreneurship? As I said earlier, I started entrepreneurship, or I stumbled upon entrepreneurship, purely because I wanted to get revenge. And now you know who I wanted to get revenge on. I wanted to get revenge on the old friend group, toxic guys, the people who were treating me like shit, okay? I'm not entitled, you know. I'm not trying to sound entitled, but that was really the fuel that led me. Like, I imagined one day I would, you know, 10 years later, 5-10 years later, I'd be pulling up and just flexing on them. And I know it's so self-centered. I know what you're thinking. It's such a douchey thing to think about, but that was in my head. That really was where my brain was at. Just, you know, if I bumped into them 10 years later, I'd be in my drop top Ferrari 488, just cruising through the city. You know, I probably got $1 million in the bank, and then they come up to me and they're like, oh, it's Matt. Oh, how you been? And me just, flexing on them and just like pretending I don't even know them. Like payback, just like in the movies, just like in TV shows. You know what I'm saying? Don't lie. You know what I'm talking about. So that's the reason I started. And the more technical things about how I started exactly was I started looking up ways to make money, but not through a 9 to 5 job, because I'd already been following like entrepreneurship pages and like wealth pages, the motivational get rich pages. I heard of Ty Lopez by this time as well, just very entry level stuff in this world. I heard of that already, but I wasn't serious. Like it's something that popped up on my Instagram and I just scrolled past. I didn't take it too seriously. But this time, when this happened, I started to take it really seriously. There was a fire under my ass. Okay, I really wanted to make this work because so 5 years later I can just flex on them and prove them wrong. I felt like I had a point to prove. The logistics about how I found entrepreneurship. I just looked up ways how to make money, and then ways how to make money without 9 to 5 job. Just spent the whole Easter break and even going into summer, just looking up ways to make money and get rich. And then one day I looked up how to make money online, and the first things that came up were filling out surveys. And of course, your boy didn't want to do surveys. No way in hell did I want to do surveys. So, yep, that was out the picture. The second thing that came up, from what I remember, I'd always been a creative person, an artistic person. Like I used to make little origami figures. I can still make it to this day. So if someone in the comments section asks me to make something out of origami, I'll happily do that. I used to draw a lot when I was younger, drawing origami. Just a very creative person at heart, and I take pride in that. I love just sitting down out for hours and just creating whatever is on my mind. Even content, like right now. Where was I? Wait, where was I? Oh yeah. Creative person. So I was a creative person at heart. So the first thing I thought about was the first thing that came up was freelancing, and I had no idea what freelancing was. And then I did a bit of digging and found out what it really means is you have a service and you're providing the service on a freelance website like Fiverr or Upwork, and then whenever someone needs you, they pay you like per hour or like a fixed rate. Excuse me. And you do your service. And since I'm an artistic guy, I started offering logo design. So I started offering logo design and graphic design as a Fiverr freelancer. I'd started my Fiverr account October of that year, which is pretty cool. I also thought in the back of my mind, like, because I had you gotta realize, man, I was like 15, 16 at the time. No skill set, shy soy boy, just no skill set, no value to the world. So I just had to think of what I could do. So logo design came to mind. Designing PowerPoints for people came to mind, oddly. I don't know how. I just thought I could like design the PowerPoints for people and they'd pay me. So I did the Fiverr. I started Fiverr, and lo and behold, 2 weeks later, I got paid. It wasn't a lot, but I got paid my first pound online, my first dollar online. That's a big step. That's a big step coming from someone who had no value to the world and never sold a dime online. I sold something. Great. It was a logo design. Cool. And I started selling more graphic design stuff. Like I even designed ads for Facebook ads for people, which is really weird. Even though I'd never used Facebook before, just thought I could sell that as well. So that was cool. I did a little lead gen service for someone as well for like $12, which was pretty cool. Took ages though. So that was the first business. Worked pretty cool, but it didn't last. Second thing, and I was doing it at the same time, was reselling clothes and reselling clothes on reselling clothes. What else? What more is there to it? If you're from the UK, you'll know about Spock and you'll know about Depop. So I was selling clothes through there. I'd walk into charity shops, or in America you'd call it thrift shops. Just look for like the vintage in demand clothes, like from the vintage brands, and then you'd have your Nike and Carhartt and your Champion stuff, like, because they were in at the time as well, the vintage streetwear or skater wear. So I'd go into charity shops after school and I'd look for these brands and these like sought after pieces. And there wasn't much because I lived in a small town, so there wasn't really much, and the charity shops there weren't that good. But I did find a couple cool pieces and started selling on Depop and Spock, and made a couple pounds there online, which is pretty cool. So that was the second business. The third business, as I sip my tea, the third business I got into was what was it? The third business it wasn't Instagram, that was later. Or it could have been Instagram. Could it be? I think it was. Yeah. If the others come to mind, I'll let you know. But yeah, it was Instagram. It was Instagram. And that was the third. The other two, okay, actually, forget that. The third one was bake sales. And what I'd do is, since another passion of mine was cooking, right, and baking, so what I'd do is bi-weekly I would bake like brownies or millionaire shortbread. Look up what that is if you don't know what it is. It's so good. I'd make and flapjacks as well. I'd make these in like a big batch, and then the Monday, like I'd make it on a Sunday, and then the day after on a Monday I'd bring them into the staff office. The staff office, and all they have to do is help themselves and then put some money in like a little jar, and that's how I made money as well. And the reason I did that was because I volunteered for I think it was a bake sale to fundraise something, and I was like, you know what, I'm pretty good at cooking, I'm pretty good at baking, so why not make my own thing out of it? And yeah, I did that for a couple of weeks. Got made fun of. I got absolutely grilled. By my classmates for that. Like, 'cause it's a guy, and usually you associate bakers with like girls. It's like a girly thing, right? So when they found out I was and I was insecure as well, so I was an easy target. But when they found out, I tried to keep it a secret. But once they found out, like a week later, I got into this. Once they found out, they just absolutely grilled me in class, and it was not fun. It's funny to look back on now, but it was just not fun at all. It did nothing for my self-esteem. So that's the third business. Now I remember the fourth business, right? Selling sweets in school. The classic. Just buy sweets in bulk and then sell them individually and try and make a profit. That lasted like not even 5 days, bro. It lasted like 3 days. Kid you not, 3 days, because I started doing it and then people started taking the piss out of me, and I didn't have thick skin at the time, so I didn't continue it. Made I think I lost money. During that. Yeah, I probably lost money. That's great. But that I still count it as fourth business. Now the fifth business is the Instagram business, and the way I stumbled upon Instagram was I just looking up on YouTube ways to make money online, and what came up was how to make money on Instagram. And I was like, oh, that's cool. How do you do that? Literally how it started. I just started binge watching. I found out that these guys were making hundreds and thousands of pounds online per month without showing their face on Instagram, on an app that I already use. And I was like, I could probably do that as well. I could give that a good shot. So I started coming up with one of the things that they recommended you do is you think of a list of passions or like your skills. And I didn't have skills at the time, so I had to think of passions. And then out of those passions, you pick one and that'll become your niche. And then once you find your niche, that's where you build your theme page around. And then what you do with your theme page is, and you know what theme pages are if you're watching my channel now, right? You repost content, viral content, and give credit to the original owner. So it's a win-win. You grow because their content's viral and you don't have to make it. They grow because you shouted them out on the bigger platform. You grow and then you monetize. And summer of 2018, so that was, okay, the timeline's messed up, but summer, that was when I got started. And I didn't know what I was doing at the time when I was starting from zero. And to be fair, no one knows what they're doing at zero. But you know what? That was the most fun business I'd ever started in my life. It was so fun. Imagine waking up and not even having to make your own content and still posting stuff that you're actually passionate about. And I was passionate about luxury items. You know, I wanted to be rich at this point, so it was only right I went in the luxury niche. So I'd post like luxury supercars, watches, rich people, travel locations. That's all I do. Just in the morning before school, I would post, and then during lunchtime I'd post, or after school I'd post, and then later in the evening when it's nearly dinner I'd post. So I'd post 3 times a day, posting viral content using the right hashtags, learning the whole game as well, of like captions, call to actions, DM groups. If you've been doing a theme page for a while, you know what that is, and they don't work anymore, so don't ask me. I used to get into I used to get into DM groups, try and form them, and I was just like doing everything right, pretty much, with no attachment to the outcome. And that's where you want to be when you're growing your business. You just want to have fun with it, treat it like a game. Like I wasn't dependent on that making income. It wasn't putting food on the table because I was living with my parents at the time. So I didn't have to worry about starving if this theme page didn't work. So I just literally had fun doing it. But the growth was really slow, so that did get to me. I was pretty upset. So I got my first 1,000 followers about a month and a half or 2 months. 2,000 came a bit quicker, probably a month, less than a month and a half. And then slowly up from there, it just went up. And then it became this compound effect curve where by about, I can't remember, I think it was 3,000 or 4,000 pounds. 3,000 to 4,000 followers was when I bought this course. And this course was on sale. And I'd pretty much spent almost all my savings account without asking my mom, like behind my mom's back. I broke her trust with this, and she knows now, so we don't have to tell her. I almost spent my savings account on this Instagram growth mentorship program. And the reason I spent it was because it was on sale. So if I'd waited any longer, it would have gone to double the price again. It was about $200. It would have gone to $400. So I just had to pull the trigger. I was scared. Obviously, the thought of my mom finding out was scary and grilling me for that. She did grill me because she did find out eventually. But I was like, you know what? I need to make this work. So I just did everything the course said. And I went from about 4,000 followers, and I'd monetized a little bit here and there, to 10K. Okay. So I went to 10K. No, before that, let's backtrack. Let's backtrack. 3 to 4K to about 6 to 7K. And then that's when my first viral post happened. I got my first viral post. 4,000 likes, I think, a bunch of saves, and I was really excited. And then the next viral post, that went viral. And then more viral posts came, and then I got to 10K. And then, lo and behold, near my birthday, or 2 months before my birthday, I started monetizing. And I didn't just start monetizing some baby bucks. This was like over $100 type of monetizing. And this is big considering where I came from just a couple months ago. Just a guy who did not contribute to society, had no skills to him, never made a dime online, to now making $100 online. Are you serious? Online. It was affiliate marketing, by the way, and we can go through this in another video. Yeah, so that was pretty cool. think I made the course back, which is also pretty cool, by my birthday, which is the cherry on top. It was my birthday, we were in New York, and I made some money, and I made the course back pretty easily. And I was sitting at around 20K this time now. So I went from, it was actually easier going from 10K to 20K. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool stuff, pretty neat. And then exams got in the way. I lost interest, I lost the drive, motivation. Oh, I got from 20K to 30K, or 35K even, and then I just like saw no point in carrying on, so I didn't carry on. So it's still a dead theme page. I don't know what to do with it. Right now I'm just using it as a case study. But yeah, let's not draw out this tea looks very weird. Let's not, I don't know if you can see this. It's like okay, this is chamomile tea, but it's got like white, you probably can't see it, like white bits in it, probably, I don't know. Let's bring it back down to earth. Let's bring it back down to why I started. And I'll tell you why there's nothing wrong with using that as a starting point. Okay, I started because I wanted to prove a point. I wanted to get rich on them. I wanted to flex on them, okay? And there's actually, I'm gonna tell you now, there's nothing wrong with it. If that's where you're starting, if you're starting from absolute scratch, there's nothing wrong with it. Just use anything you can to build some momentum, and that built a hell of a lot of momentum. Okay, flexing on them, like we're getting revenge, like that. Looking back on them, looking at them 5 years later. I'm losing my words now. Looking back at them 5 years later, they're still losers. They're still drinking beers and smoking weed and wasting their life away, and still making fun of people, and you know, being skinny fat. Like I'm just going all out now. I'm not even gonna filter myself. Being pricks. And then there's me. Like I'm just picturing myself like me in my nice outfit, just riding through the town, like a drop top Ferrari, and all the supercars, driving my dream car, driving my Audi R8, just knowing I've got stacks of cash in the bank. You know, it's such a superficial thing to imagine, but that's where my head was at the time. And there's nothing wrong with using that as motivation, because we need to get something, at least you need to get something done to at least give you that push. And if that has to be the reason, then that's the reason. But what I will say is, it's not a good long-term motivation. Okay, you're gonna, and luckily, as you get deeper into this journey, if you're really like passionate about, if you're really here to actually help people and you believe in your service or what you do, then it's gonna really just dissipate into, you know, the joy of helping people, or the joy of doing what you, the joy of doing something you love and making money out of it, you know, monetizing off it. It's going to change into that, hopefully. It's kind of like when you start going to the gym to get girls and you want to get laid. And then as you start going, though, as you keep going and you see the progression, you start to realize it's less about that and it's more about your growth, like seeing how far you've come compared to where you started, seeing how much muscle you've put on in such a short time, and how much discipline you've built. Just a couple months ago, when you were skinny and just played video games all day and was a lazy guy or girl, just seeing that progression, and then that becomes the focus as to why you're doing it. So think your reasons will change. I'm not gonna lie, right now there's still, like, even at my stage, there's still a bit of that left, like trying to prove something, but it's not taken over. It's not the main drive as to why I'm running a coaching business. No, I think as I said, I've gone over it, but I just wanted to unfilter myself. And yeah, that's where I started. That's where I started. I wanted to become a business owner to flex on people and prove the broke boys wrong. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave it a like, subscribe as well if you're new. leave a comment. Let me know if you relate, because it's probably gonna be a chance of me saying this, and then I'm gonna realize how much more people actually relate to this than I thought. So leave a comment if you relate or came from the same sort of place, or if you don't relate, also comment why, or where you came from, what motivates you to be in business, or what got you started in business. So I'd love to hear your point of view. But this has been me. I'll see you in the next video. DM me on Instagram as well if you want to reach out to me personally, at the Matt Jacob. And as always, book in a call below if you want to grow your cult-like personal brand on Instagram and monetize it. An additional 5 to 6 figures. We'll get to 7 figures soon, don't worry. But enough of that. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video. Appreciate you.